So my name's Anna Hayward and I run Drover Cycles, which is the bike shop here in Hay-on-Wye. I spent 2 years cycling from London to Cape Town with my partner Luke before setting up the business, and that kind of gave us a wonderful experience and made us think the best way to see the world is on a bike. And you find them all over the world. It's a link, not one that you'd think of immediately, but it's a link between ordinary people here in Hay and ordinary people in Timbuktu. I feel that there's so much negative kind of portrayal of sub-Saharan Africa in general, and perhaps the information that people have been hearing about Timbuktu is that it's all doom and gloom, and I think it's quite good sometimes to take people back to basics and to explain to them about, what are the good things about life in West Africa in general and in Mali, and one of them is about people using simple forms of transport to get about. There's no epidemic of obesity in Mali because people are much more active and use bicycles to get around. They use their 2 feet. So when we were looking at the Millennium Development Goals, one of which is to ensure environmental sustainability, there's kind of an obvious link there with it. A bike is pretty much the greenest form of transport around, no fuel required other than your thighs. And one thing I've found is that in a lot of parts of the developing world there's kind of a need to perhaps imitate the West, or to feel like you're getting somewhere. If someone offers you a motorbike, then you won't choose a bike over it. And here in the UK, it's almost come full circle, and people are realising the impact of using fossil fuels on climate change, and a lot of people are trying to use bikes again. In some senses it was quite easy for us to set up this project because we're already here, we're running the bike shop. We registered with British Cycling as a cycling club in order to sort of set up the club, which we've called Velo Hay. That was the first step. Then we went out to try and recruit local people. Again, Hay being a small place, it's quite easy to get the word out, and we've been really pleased with the response. We've had sort of 30 or 40 people who've come on a regular basis over the summer months on the rides. One of the key ways that we wanted the project to reflect the Millennium Development Goals was by empowering women, giving women more confidence to go out and cycle. It might seem like a strange thing to say. You think anyone could jump on a bike here in the UK, but there's still massively more men who go out regularly and cycle. And there are sort of barriers preventing women getting on a bike. And I thought it might be difficult to engage more women to take part, but actually it's been really pleasantly surprising. We've probably had about 1/3 of our membership and people who come along regularly for the rides are women. We're hoping to organise a ride for people from Hay next spring in April, to go from Hay to Saintes in the south of France. Saintes is also twin with Timbuktu, so while Hay is the UK twin of Timbuktu, Saintes is the French equivalent.
We've got a couple of cyclists who are about to set off to cycle to Saintes, which is in the south of France and twinned also with Timbuktu. If you'd like to come outside and wave them off, that'd be really great. Where are they going? Saintes, the south.
When we get there, then we'll be meeting our counterparts in Saintes and sort of discussing what have they done with their link. They've got some really interesting projects that have been happening there, and hopefully it'll be a way for us to exchange information and share ideas. And if people are taking part in the ride and they want to use that as an opportunity to raise sponsorship, then why not? It's not something that we've kind of worked out absolutely. Again, I'd be a little bit wary of it being a fundraising ride, because I think then people's perception is always just that we're raising money for people in Timbuktu, because people in Timbuktu need money and we've got to give them stuff, and there's nothing that we can kind of learn in return. So it's certainly not just about raising money. It's about the journey and about exchanging information and ideas. Cycling festival, the Hay Bike Fest, will be taking place next year, and we thought it'd be nice to incorporate an event into that, which tied in with the project. So yeah, we've got the idea of covering the miles from Hay to Timbuktu, if we can find enough willing volunteers to add up their mileage, and perhaps have some static bikes that can be pedalled kind of 24/7 to try and achieve that. We reckon 25 kilometres an hour, and it's, how many thousand, I think it's 8,000 miles. I did work out all the figures, but basically we start at midday, I think, on the Friday through to midnight on the Sunday with 4 people constantly, and it's doable. We need a few volunteers.